Good morning, I'm Sarah Safsanamma and these are the top stories so far. Prime Minister Oli expresses dissatisfaction over the criticism of government from within his party, emphasizes he will lead the government for full 5 years. Trade unions alleged of exercising too much authority at the judiciary obstruct the transfer decision of 418 employees. Police arrest hundreds protesting against US President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh as the judge inches closer to confirmation. And Chelsea, Arsenal and AC Milan emerged victorious in their respective Europa League matches held last night. Let us begin with the latest national political updates. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has returned from his 2-week-long foreign visit where he attended the 73rd General Assembly of the United Nations. During his visit, Premier Oli emphasized on winning the trust and improving relations with the international community. Likewise, Premier Oli also officially visited the American nation, Costa Rica. Premier Oli, who is currently leading the strongest government post-elections with 2/3 majority, had gone to attend the UN General Assembly high on confidence. During his address at the UN, Prime Minister Oli shared Nepal's progress in gaining peace and harmony after years of conflict and political instability. Likewise, Premier Oli also held separate meetings with American President Donald Trump, British Prime Minister Theresa May, Swiss President Alain Berset, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Colombian President Ivan Duque Marquez. Prime Minister Oli's participation at the UN General Assembly was considered different compared to previous representatives from Nepal as he focused on reviving Nepal's diplomatic relations with the rest of the participating nations other than India, China and America. With Premier Oli's initiatives as SAARC chair nation, Nepal also called for an unofficial meeting between SAARC nations in New York. And moving on, during the party unification between the then CPN-UML and CPN-Maoist Centre, Chairman Duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal had agreed to share the position of Prime Minister on rotational basis. However, amid growing internal disputes within Nepal Communist Party, Prime Minister and Nepal Communist Party Chairman KP Sharma Oli has said he will lead the government for full 5 years. Premier Oli made the remark yesterday following his return from the 2-week-long visit for United Nations General Assembly. Oli said the next election would be conducted by the government led by himself. Without mentioning any particular name, Oli said that the criticism of his government during his absence did not carry any significance. Oli added that the 7 months was too short a time period to gauge the credibility of his government. Majority of the leaders from the Oli faction had reached the Tribhuvan International Airport to receive the Prime Minister, while senior Nepal Communist Party leader Madhav Kumar Nepal and his faction were notably absent. Now, the sole purpose of Parliamentary Committee is to monitor the government's performance, which is why these committees have been assigned their works accordingly. However, jurisdiction of few committees can clash as the construction of Nisgarh International Airport provides a glaring case. The International Relations Committee of House of Representatives had formed a subcommittee to prepare a report on the under construction Nisgarh International Airport on 20th of September. The subcommittee had to be formed after the government proceeded with the process of felling trees even without a detailed project report finalized. To add to the conflict of jurisdiction, the National Affairs and Coordination Committee of National Assembly has gone a step ahead by preparing to conduct a site monitoring after the Dasai festival. Lawmakers themselves admit the involvement of two committees for a single project poses threat of further complications in the project. Based on the parliamentary regulations, the construction of Nisgarh International Airport falls under the jurisdiction of both these committees. The monitoring of works of the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation comes under the International Relations Committee, while the National Pride projects come under National Affairs and Coordination Committee. The fact that these two committees are opting for separate studies for the project raises a question if the committees are only more concerned on garnering popularity instead of working together for productive results. The Supreme Court itself is in a situation where it cannot implement its own decisions because of the rising influence of employee unions. The Supreme Court administration, which had decided to transfer 418 employees last Monday, has failed to implement the decision. Trade unions protested the court's decision, saying they were not consulted in the process. They further warned of staging a hunger strike at the court premises, alleging the court of transferring employees against their will and exercising nepotism in the new appointments. 4 unions of non-gazetted officials affiliated to the then UML, CPN Maoist Center, along with Nepali Congress and Tarai Senate parties, are active at the judiciary. Another official trade union has been added to the existing unions. All offices have the leaders of the trade unions, which makes it difficult for the administrators to transfer them. However, central office bearers of the official trade union say that the other trade unions cannot interfere in the transfer and appraisal of any employee. Number of employees receiving their remuneration and benefits without any work has increased because of the presence of numerous trade unions. Former Supreme Court Registrar Ramkrishna Timalsina is of the opinion that trade unions with political backing may influence the judiciary, as their presence does not augur well for the judiciary itself. In the past, former Chief Justice Susila Karki had publicly expressed her frustration regarding the hindrances caused by the officials of trade unions in fair operation of court procedures. Failure to put a legal end to the groupism of employees at a national body as sensitive as the court is certain to hurt the public sentiments towards the judiciary. And moving on, a total of 82 billion rupees was spent at the Department of Roads in the past 1 year alone. Almost 3 billion rupees was spent in Kathmandu Valley for road repair and expansion projects. This means around 20 million rupees were spent per kilometer in the capital. Out of the total 85,000 kilometers road across the nation, the Department of Road carried out repair, expansion and maintenance works of only 15,000 kilometers, along with construction and repair of around 1,200 bridges. For these works, the department spent around 82 billion rupees. Almost half of the 500 kilometers of road in Kathmandu Valley are being worked upon by the department, for which it spent almost 3 billion rupees in 1 year alone. The size of the budget spent on road is larger if we are to consider the expenses made by the local levels and other departments. Despite such large investments made in works related to road that are considered relatively expensive, results are far from satisfactory. The sorry state of the 12 road sections for which contractors were issued under the Valley Road Expansion project between early 2015 to 2018 are testimony of the difference between expenditure and accomplishments. From obstructions imposed by the locals to court hassles, irresponsibilities on the part of the contractors and government's rush for assignment of contracts without adequate study, among others, have led to the present state of affairs. Considering Kathmandu for an example, the capital city offers dusty and muddy roads with potholes in every nook and corner. Despite having basic facilities such as education and electricity, among others, out of 63 households, locals of 60 houses have already left the village of Sabahik village in Titya Village Development Committee of Dhankuta in search of employment. Although the rate of infrastructure's development has increased in the village, the rate of people leaving for foreign employment has continued unabated. This has left villages like Piple, Karkale, Marse, Fadire, among others, isolated, wearing a deserted look. In this context, we had asked the locals of Telia, Chathar, Jorpati rural municipality what should be done to engage locals in business and make them self-employed. In our Public Voice segment, let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
प्रशस्त जग्गा जमिन चाहिँ खाली बाँझो छ। यसमा विभिन्न चाहिँ फर्म जस्तै बाख्रा फर्म, गाई फर्म, यहाँ चाहिँ राँगा पालन, अनि चाहिँ एभोकाडो खेती लगायत विभिन्न चाहिँ फलफुल खेती सञ्चालन गर्यो भने यहाँ चाहिँ रोजगारीका अवसर प्रशस्त चाहिँ सृजना गर्न सकिन्छ।
कल कारखाना फ्याक्ट्रीहरु केही राखिदिएदेखि मान्छेहरु आकर्षित भएर फेरि पुनः दोहोरिएर आउने थिए।
जनताहरुको लागि अलि भरपर्दो एउटा चाहिँ रोजगारी चाहियो के।
जति पनि हो घाँस बाँसको चाहिँ नि कपासको व्यवस्था भएपछि त्यो वहाँ गएर नि त्यही चाहिने हो मान्छे खोज्न गएको। यहाँ पनि त्यही हो।
कुखुरा पालन, सुँगुर पालन, बाख्रा पालन को व्यवस्थापन गरेर
गाउँका बेरोजगारहरूलाई त्यतापट्टि आबद्ध गरेर गाउँको विकास गर्ने लक्ष्य लिएर काम गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ।
And it's now time for our segment Public Pulse.
Public Pulse.
And the question for today is, what's your take on the government's spending on road repair in the capital? Your options are A, unnatural, B, purposeful, and C, full of irregularities. The voting for that question is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And those are the latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will be at 11 this morning. Keep watching Kantipur TV HD for more news and entertainment. Have a great day ahead.